Tonight's episode of Raw didn't just further storylines, it exploded them. This was one of those rare nights where it felt like every single segment mattered, and I was here for it. I was thoroughly enjoying Raw. I felt like a little kid again, just cheering. It was a great night, so let's just get into it. The show starts off with a thunderous pop as Brock Lesnar's music hits and him and Paul Heyman make their way down to the ring. And Paul Heyman pulls zero punches as he breaks down what he thinks happened in the Brock and Oba segment from last week. Paul claimed that Oba's betterment of Brock the week prior was simply just because Oba was taking advantageous actions because Brock was too busy being distracted with Seth and all of the masked men running around the ring, and then Oba's eventual appearance. Paul didn't pull any punches as he claimed that Oba was overhyped and that he just fits the description of every single previous challenger that claimed they were going to take Brock's spot. They're gonna fall and be conquered. I've been watching Brock Lesnar for many years, and this excitement that Brock was showing as Paul was doing his thing on the mic, it felt genuine. It felt like Brock is truly excited to match up with Oba personally, not in the WWE world. And I'm really excited about that because I think it could deliver a very good match. If Brock's interested, he usually puts out good work, and we know what Oba can do. There was also an interesting part that grabbed my attention where Paul said, "Did The Undertaker ever get revenge?" It felt kind of out of place and almost like a hint or a spoiler. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but The Undertaker has been making more appearances lately, and it would be so cool to see him show up in that Brock and Oba match, whether he takes one or both of them out, just to show this is what the big dog looks like. But back to the segment. The lights darken and the crowd goes wild, which is awesome to see crowds go crazy for Oba. Welcoming NXT talent with open arms is really helping these people establish true roots on the roster. And they sang his way to the ring, and Oba makes his way to the ring and cleans house with Brock, but this time without distractions. Brock tries to get him up in the F5, Oba hops off and sends him flying over the top rope with a clothesline, and it was a violent whip. Like, Brock hit the ground pretty hard. So with the way that Brock's willing to sell for Oba, the build-up they've already had towards it, I'm super excited for this match. I can't wait for WrestleMania, and I truly think this is going to be one of those ones that can open the show or be in the middle of the show where there's a lull and really wake us up as fans. I can't wait. Next, let's talk about the Usos versus The Vision, where we had a lot of things go down. First things first, Crash Out Jey Uso is back. And I'm a big Jey Uso fan and have really been waiting for him to get back to his temperamental mood and start trying to fight everyone. I really think like this is going to add a lot to not only the Usos WrestleMania, but Roman's WrestleMania, as we're going to see later in this episode. Another small detail I liked, whether intentional or not, is that Austin Theory brought back the pants that the fans hated. Like, he's trying to be a heel, and one of the best ways to do that is do things the fans don't like. It's a cheap way to get negativity, I guess. And the match itself didn't disappoint either. There was some fast-paced action and even some comedy gold moments where Austin Theory rips the turnbuckle off, throws it at Jey as a distraction, and hits him with a nasty punch. And eventually we're on the outside of the ring with Logan Paul as he slides on the famous brass knuckles that got him into the Vision in the first place, and he tries to go in and use them, but somehow Jey gets the knuckles and he doesn't even try to hide it. He just clocks Austin Theory, instantly getting disqualified and losing the match. But that wasn't all either. As he's on his way out, he notices a fresh Logan Paul standing in the ring, and Crash Out Jey runs back and hits him with the brass knuckles. I'm starting to get the feeling that we could be building to a mega multi-man tag team match at WrestleMania, featuring maybe the likes of The Vision, The New Day with Grayson Waller, against a combination of the Usos, LA Knight, and maybe even IShowSpeed. IShowSpeed has put out several bits of pieces of content that shows he's training and working to be a better WWE wrestler for the next time he makes an appearance. And with the connections with Logan Paul, it could make for a viral WrestleMania moment and match to have those two on opposite teams in a big fashion like that. Last thing to note on this is later in the show, Paul Heyman would go to Adam Pearce and ask for a tag team championship match for the Vision against the Usos in a street fight at Madison Square Garden. I am so excited for that. I think it can truly be a good match and either push this storyline further or if WWE so chooses, they could end it there as well. Another piece from Raw that I really enjoyed was the Dom versus Penta IC title match and all of the shenanigans that happened before and afterwards too. We start out with Dirty Dom's music hitting and Liv Morgan in tow, and shortly after we get a raging Stephanie Vaquer to attack Liv from behind and send the show into pure chaos. Stephanie's delivering heated punches to Liv, and shortly after, Liv breaks free and smashes her into the Titantron, sending glitches up the screen. And this fight spills into the gorilla position where these ladies are on top of each other throwing heavy punches. And you can hear Liv screaming from the back. Eventually, WWE staff is able to get the two superstars separated, and our attention's diverted back to the entrance where Dirty Dom is now followed by JD McDonough. Eventually, Penta makes his way down too, and they begin the championship announcements. But before the announcer can even get a word out, Dom attacks Penta. And that early attempt at control seemingly puts Dom in a position to get his belt back, as he sets Penta up for a 619, hits it, and is in position to deliver the frog splash that we've seen so many superstars fall to in Dom's reign. But then we hear familiar music play as Finn Balor makes his way down. But JD McDonough is there to curve him. But Dom's focused on getting the title back, so he looks back down at Penta and goes to deliver the frog splash. But Penta was waiting and baiting, caught Dom and rolled him up for the 1-2-3. And Balor makes his entrance into the ring and tries to deliver Dom the payback that he's been waiting to give. But Dom keeps slipping away, he's evasive, and by the time that he finally does get away, JD McDonough is there to take Finn Balor's full attention. But Dom doesn't help JD at all. He goes and gets safe away from the action, and Finn Balor destroys JD McDonough. Even after Finn Balor's departure, we're still seeing miscommunication in Judgment Day, and I think that could play into this storyline as we build up to WrestleMania. And I love that WWE is giving Finn the keys to run his solo career again. We've been waiting for it, and Finn definitely deserves a world title push because he is aging and there's not much time left to give him that belt. Becky and AJ had one of their best exchanges to date. Becky's emotions were so real, and her callback to AJ's last WrestleMania match was fitting. And if you remember, that WrestleMania matchup was a tag team match with AJ teaming up with Paige against the Bella Twins, where AJ would get the win by submission, but the next episode of Raw would be her last appearance until recently. We also get Paul Heyman putting Seth Rollins in jail. Paul Heyman enters the ring and challenges Seth to come and get him, deliver the beating that he's been threatening him with. And Seth Rollins makes his way from the back of the crowd, masked up and ready to do so. And as he's about to pursue, we see 4 police officers cut Seth off, and Paul Heyman delivers the news that he had gotten a restraining order on Seth and that Seth could not be anywhere within 50 feet of Paul. So as these cops are taking Seth away, Paul says some pretty heinous things, including Becky, Seth's child, and eventually Seth can't take it. He turns around and charges the ring and starts beating on Paul. The cops get a hold of Seth, and later on in the show we're informed that Seth Rollins is in jail in Boston. Next week, Raw is in MSG, and I'm so excited because every show there just always feels bigger. And I always look back to those legendary moments, especially the one where Jeff Hardy hit the Swanton on the Dudley Boys and that famous TLC Tag Team Championship match. Also, where is Smiley Shirt Guy? I hope he's well. If any of you guys have info, please drop it in the comments because I'm concerned. We also found out we're getting Clash in Italy May 31st, and I'm so excited for that international crowd, as Italians are always passionate, and I'm sure they're going to deliver us a great night of reactions. We also get a backstage segment where Danhausen curses IShowSpeed. And honestly, this couldn't have come at a worse time for Speed. We're gearing up for WrestleMania, and as he's been working to hopefully get on that card, I don't think that curse is going to do well for him. I really feel like Speed should have just given Danhausen the Instagram account, because once that finger gets to pointing, bad things happen. Last but not least, let's talk about the earth-shaking segment between Punk and Roman Reigns and the Usos. We open in gorilla position, which tells you usually this isn't going to be a normal segment. We're going to see something happen. And Jimmy Uso's waiting for Punk, and he warns him, watch out for my brother. He's on a warpath right now. And Punk has a smug response, but things would play out similar to what Jimmy Uso was warning Punk about. And Punk makes his way to the ring and delivers the best promo he has had in this build-up so far. This feels like Punk. This is what we wanted, and I'm so glad we finally got it. Punk takes shots at Roman, calling him old too, and even though Punk might be old, at least he's not hiding his gray hairs with hair dye like Roman is. And he gets graphic about the way he's going to beat Roman at WrestleMania, describing the saliva that's going to come out of his mouth. This isn't a competition anymore. This is a blood feud. And just as we think we're going to get a Roman appearance, Jey Uso's music hits, and he comes down furious, questioning Punk's intelligence on continuing the slander on the family, even after he's been shown multiple times that it's not the right thing to do unless you want to pay those consequences. And surprisingly, rather than being furious, Punk offers Jey Uso a world title opportunity, and Jey Uso seems ready to take it. And that's until Jimmy Uso's music hit. Jimmy Uso tells his brother that what he's doing is not right, and Roman's not gonna like it. Jey retaliates by saying, "Why isn't Roman out here?" And just as he says that, we hear the orchestra, and Roman makes his way down. And he has a simple message for Jimmy when he enters the ring: get your brother and get out of the ring. And almost before he can even finish the sentence, Jey charges Punk and tries to attack him, but Punk hits him with the mic, sending him to the mat instantly. But almost as quickly as you see that happen, Roman delivers a massive Superman punch to Punk, sending him to the ground, knocked out cold. And it seems like Roman's going to be satisfied with his work. That's until the camera pans to Jey Uso and he drops the famed line of, "Get him, you know what to do, Roman." So Roman loads up in the corner and delivers a spear that I swear cuts Punk in half. And that wasn't it. He kicks Punk out of the ring, gets him in position, and power bombs him through the announcement table, leaving Punk laying on the floor. To wrap things up, coming into this Raw, I didn't expect much, because honestly I wasn't a fan of last week's show, and SmackDown has been killing them in the build-up to WrestleMania. I can't lie, I was starting to get a little frustrated with the lack of physical altercation between Punk and Roman, but it was well worth the wait, and I truly feel like waiting made it even better. So props to WWE for building this feud up, and I truly cannot wait for this matchup at WrestleMania. Do you think the Usos will be involved in the actual match or only the build-up? Let me know in the comments. I was on the edge of my seat and they truly had my full attention the entire show. I'm really excited to see what happens next week and what other matches we could see in this WrestleMania build-up. If you have any predictions, please drop them in the comments. I'm interested to see what you guys think. Thank you for watching, and if you're still here, like the video. I'm trying to build a community and it'd be awesome to grow. Thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you in the next one.